Precious Metal Summit Zurich 2022, and it's day 2 here now. And in the morning, my first interview here is Faraday Copper, and Paul Harbidge, the CEO, is here with us. Good morning, Paul. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Very good. Thank you. Great to be back in Zurich.
Yeah, absolutely, and back personally.
Exactly. Yeah, beats Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. Super. Faraday Copper. I saw you just listed a company in November 2022 at the TSX, but you had a predecessor company, a company before that, right? Which came out of Faraday Copper. Maybe you want to explain a bit.
Yeah, no. So it comes out of Copper Bank Resources, and we took over the management of the company in September 2021, and then we wanted to rebrand ourselves. It had been set up as, by definition, as a bank to store copper assets in, and then when we came on board, we wanted to move it forward, really unlock value for shareholders. And so as part of that, we wanted to rebrand ourselves, give us a distinction, and so we called ourselves Faraday Copper.
Okay.
And then also part of this was uplisting, and we were on the CSE, and we now migrated to the TSX main board. So that really helps, gives us greater exposure, liquidity, and sort of improvement and confidence to shareholders around governance and the work that we're doing. It really supports our thesis of bringing senior company mentality to the junior world.
Fantastic. Okay, so what's Faraday Copper about? Where are you working? What's your project?
Yeah, so it's all about US domestic sources of copper. So we've got 2 copper projects in the US. Our flagship property, Copper Creek, is in Arizona, and it's one of the largest undeveloped copper projects in the US. And particularly in the hands of a smaller company. We've got almost 4 billion pounds of contained copper.
Wow, that's a lot.
And then our second project, Contact Copper, is in Nevada, and that's a heap leach opportunity.
Okay, super. So how far are you? Do you have already PEAs done, resource estimates? I mean, you said already you have 4 billion tons of copper. That's fantastic, but what is the process? What have you achieved this year?
Yeah, so coming on board, I mean, essentially it was a dormant company. It was a shell. No work had been done on the projects for really 10 years. And so we came in, we sorted all the data, we put together a geological model, we then updated the mineral resource, and for the first time, we had an open pit and an underground resource. We've done geotechnical studies, metallurgy. We're now in the process of bolting all of this empirical data together to deliver a PEA in Q2 next year.
Oh, okay, super. So talking about next year, the PEA is one thing. What else do you want to achieve next year? What is in the program?
So the other thing that we've also completed a first phase of drill program in Arizona, a 6,000 meter program. And what we've seen, because those results came post the mineral resource estimate, and we're seeing that we're getting better grades than in the resource, both in the open pit and the underground. And so we've just kicked off another 10,000 meter program. And so that is focused on 3 things. One is we see a potential to expand the open pits. Also, 2, to better delineate the high-grade underground and start testing new targets. Now, one of the key features about this area is these breccia pipes, and there's 400 have been mapped at surface. There's 34 have had a drill hole or more, but only 14 are in the resource. So we've got many hundreds to go and check and with the aim of making new discoveries.
Okay. As you have 2 wonderful projects in the US, and I mean the US need also a lot of copper as the rest of the world. Do you intend to bring them by yourself in production, or could you also think about maybe we sell one we do by ourselves?
No, certainly. I mean, I think, if you look at all the main copper producers around the world, they're all desperately looking for new resources to develop. And so, as we de-risk this project, and particularly, as opposed to making assumptions in our study work, we're really collecting that empirical data. And so ideally, look to, as we advance it through these study phases, to potentially package it up for someone to come along and develop it.
Yeah, and to create shareholder value.
No, that's right. I mean, one other thing I wanted to mention is, we've got, in terms of our shareholding, we've got 3 key strategic investors in the company, and one is the Lundin family, 2 Murray Edwards, another Canadian resource billionaire, and Pierre Lassonde as well.
Oh, well, that's a real big thing, I would say. Fantastic. What is your view on the copper markets for next years?
I think, look, the challenge right now is, whether it's Europe or the rest of the world, everyone's worried about whether they can pay their mortgage bill or their utility bill. And they can't, they're sort of blinkered to what's coming. But with this whole clean energy transition, I mean, it's interesting, even here in Zurich, you don't see many EVs on the road, and so there's...
Here in Zurich?
Yeah, I don't... Certainly, in Vancouver, there's like every other vehicle.
Of Tesla here.
But so, the amount of vehicles that have got to come, solar, this whole green energy transition, I don't think people recognize the amount of copper that's needed. And they certainly, there's this disconnect between, where's all this metal coming from? But I think mines are still viewed a bit like oil and gas, that we're this dirty polluter. And so I think there's got to be more of an education from the industry that, mining is good because that's where the metal is going to come for this transition.
Yes, definitely, because otherwise we are not building one solar panel, one new power transformation, whatever. Yeah?
I mean, you're already seeing these car companies saying there can be up to 3-year wait time. I mean, I think it was the new Hyundai, a 3-year wait time.
I'm not waiting 3 years for my car, that's for sure. Last question, how much money is in the bank? Because you want to do a lot next year.
Yeah. So we've got 13.5 million Canadian, and so that's sufficient to complete the drilling that we're doing now and deliver the PEA.
Fantastic. Super, Paul, thank you very much. Sounds like
a
compelling story and a really good game plan, and I'm pretty sure copper will go much, much higher.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Paul Harbidge, the CEO of Faraday Copper. And you heard it. 2 projects in the US. They want to deliver next year already the first PEA. And copper, there's no doubt, is a lot more needed in this new electrified world and in this new EV world. So you should check out the company. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Zurich.